Hello, my friends. The story for the day is about the Dogman and a pack that was made. Now on to the story. The moon was a thin slice, barely lighting our path. The air was crisp with the scent of pine and wet earth, mingling with the faint metallic tang of fear that seeped from our pores. Max, our loyal German shepherd, pranced anxiously, his ears perked and twitching at each eerie sound that echoed through the silent woods. That night, the forest seemed alive, pulsating with a beating sound that resonated with the howling wind. The trees whispered secrets to each other, their gnarled branches trembling in the freezing gusts. Our breath fogged in the cold as we ventured deeper, the familiar path morphing into a labyrinth of shadows. Suddenly, Max stopped, his body rigid, his head tilted, ears erect, and his gaze fixated on something we couldn't see. A low growl rumbled from his throat, primal and territorial. He wasn't usually this skittish, even in the face of danger. The howling we had heard earlier was not a distant echo anymore. It was close, too close. It was not a wolf or a coyote. It was something else. Something sinister, a sound that could curdle blood and freeze the heart. The fear was palpable now, tasteable, like the bitter aftertaste of a bad dream. Suddenly, a brush of wind stirred the leaves, creating a frenzy of shadow and light. And then we saw it, a single glowing red eye, staring at us from the depths of the forest. It was not a mere reflection, but a beacon, a lure drawing us deeper into the woods. From the corner of my eye, I saw my companion shudder, her hand gripping mine tighter. Max's growl grew louder, his teeth bared, but he didn't move. He was as transfixed as we were, caught in the hypnotic gaze of the red eye. We were lost, completely disoriented, and enveloped by a force we could neither understand nor resist. The path we were on was no longer just a path, but a twisted journey into the heart of the unknown. The forest, once our haven, was now a maze filled with unseen horrors, and we were its unwilling captives. The howling grew louder, more desperate. It was a haunting symphony, a serenade of fear that the forest played for its unsuspecting guests. Each step we took felt like we were descending into a nightmare, a story of horror written by the forest itself. And as we stumbled through the undergrowth, the red eye in the distance remained constant. The forest was alive, and we were the unwilling participants in its sinister dance. The stage was set, the players ready. The first act of our nightmare was about to begin. The pulsating red eye belonged to a creature unlike any we'd ever seen. It towered over us, a dark silhouette against the ghostly moonlight, a man-sized dog with a coat as black as the night itself. Its eyes glowed like burning coals, a stark contrast to the icy chill that hung in the air. The creature growled, a sound that reverberated through the silence, echoing our rising dread. It seemed to know us, its penetrating gaze analyzing our every move, our every breath. There was something familiar in its stare, something that provoked a primal fear within us. Legend spoke of a creature, the Dogman, an ancient spirit of the forest that consumed lost wanderers. It was said to be a guardian and a predator, a being that existed in the thin line between man and beast. As the Dogman stood before us, the tales of old seemed to come to life. In my panic, I threw Max's leash into the underbrush, a desperate attempt to save our faithful companion. Max bolted, disappearing into the thick foliage. We followed suit, our bodies fueled by adrenaline. The forest was a blur as we ran, the Dogman's growl echoing in our ears. Morning came, but it brought no relief. Max returned, his leash in his mouth, his coat unmarred by the events of the night. But we were not the same. The forest had changed us, marked us. We were no longer mere wanderers, but survivors of a nightmare we could never forget. Our home, once a sanctuary, now felt like a cage. The memories of the night haunted us, the echo of the Dogman's growl, the glow of its eyes, the fear that gripped us. The forest had revealed a secret, a horror that lurked in its depths, and we were the unfortunate witnesses. As the sun rose, we tried to shake off the night's events, to bury them deep within us. But the forest had other plans. It had tasted our fear, our desperation, and it yearned for more. The Dogman was not done with us yet, and we were just beginning to realize the price of our encounter. Days turned into weeks, but the terror of that night remained ever present, like a shadow that refused to leave our side. The forest, once a source of tranquility, was now a reminder of our ordeal. We avoided it, but it seemed to reach out to us in sinister ways. The haunting started subtly, almost unnoticeable at first. A strange scratch on the front door, as if a beast had marked its territory. Then, Max's water bowl, mysteriously empty each morning, despite Max not drinking from it. It was as though an unseen guest was visiting us each night. Then came the eerie morning when I woke up to find my bed damp, as if a spectral figure had shared it with me. The chill in the room was palpable, a stark contrast to the summer warmth outside. Max seemed restless too, his eyes filled with a strange apprehension, his nose twitching as if sensing an unseen presence. The realization hit hard. The Dogman wasn't just a creature of the forest. It was a spirit capable of haunting us beyond the confines of the woods. It had followed us, marking our home as its territory, reminding us of the pact we never agreed to. I would often catch Max staring at the forest, his ears erect, his body tense. At times, he would growl, his gaze fixed at something we couldn't see. The Dogman was making its presence known, a constant reminder of the terror we had experienced. Despite the fear, there was an odd sense of understanding. The Dogman didn't seem to want to harm us. It was more of a warning, a message that we were intruding its space, its home. It wanted us to leave, to respect its domain. But we were trapped. The nights were the hardest. The howling would start at dusk, a haunting serenade that filled the air. Each howl was a reminder of the pact, the deal we had unknowingly made with the Dogman. We were its guests, and it was the unforgiving host. The haunting didn't stop. It became a part of our life, a chilling symphony that played each night. Fear was a constant companion, but so was the realization that we were living a tale of horror, a story written by the Dogman. It wanted us, and it was willing to haunt us till the end. Driven to desperation, I decided to challenge the Dogman. A risky gamble, but I couldn't bear the perpetual state of fear, the endless nights of haunting. I wanted to reclaim our lives, free Max from the invisible chains the Dogman had locked him in. I approached the forest with a heavy heart, each step echoing the weight of my decision. The silence was deafening, the darkness suffocating, but I forged ahead, towards the spot where we first encountered the beast. With a deep breath, I called out to the Dogman, my voice a plea in the quiet night. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, from deep within the forest, a low growl emerged. The Dogman had heard me. I proposed a deal, a pact to end the torment. I offered myself in exchange for Max's freedom. The Dogman seemed to understand, its menacing growl softening, its glowing eyes scrutinizing me. The beast considered my offer, the silence stretching on until it finally agreed. The terms were set. I promised the Dogman a pact of protection from the hunters that often roamed the forest. In return, it would spare Max, free him from the haunting. The beast seemed to accept, its growl transforming into a low hum, almost a purr. As we parted ways that night, I felt a strange sense of relief. The deal was a risk, a gamble with my life, but I was willing to pay the price for Max's safety. The forest seemed less menacing, the howling less haunting. The Dogman was still a threat, but now we had a pact, a fragile truce that I hoped would hold. As I walked back to our home, the scar on my wrist a constant reminder of the pact, the forest seemed to breathe with me. I felt a part of it, a part of its tales and secrets. The Dogman was still out there, watching, waiting, but Max was safe, and that was all that mattered. The price was high, but it was one I was willing to pay. The Dogman wasn't just a beast. It was a creature of ancient laws and rituals. The pact we had made wasn't enough. It needed proof, a physical testament to the deal. It demanded a blood pact, a sealing of our agreement that couldn't be broken. With a trembling hand, I slit my wrist, a sharp sting followed by a warm trickle of blood. The Dogman watched, its fiery eyes reflecting the crimson drops that fell onto the forest floor. It stepped forward, its massive form looming over me, and licked my wound. The contact was chilling, a cold that seeped into my bones. I watched as the wound healed miraculously, the pain subsiding, leaving only a faint scar. The Dogman had accepted the pact, the blood sealing our deal. It turned and disappeared into the forest, leaving me alone with the echo of our agreement. From that night, our lives changed. The haunting ceased. The howling became less frequent. Max seemed at ease, the tension in his body fading. He was free of the Dogman's torment, safe under the protection of our pact. But the pact came with a price. Every full moon, the Dogman would appear at my window, a silent sentinel watching over me. Its eyes, burning coals in the moonlight, reminded me of the debt I owed, the price I had to pay for Max's freedom. The scar on my wrist was a constant reminder of the agreement, a symbol of the bond we had formed. With each passing day, I felt the weight of the pact, the responsibility it entailed. Max was safe, but at what cost? The Dogman was an ever-present figure in our lives, a dark shadow that loomed over us. We had made a pact with a beast, a creature of the forest, and we were bound by it. The forest was no longer just a place of tranquility. It was a realm of ancient pacts and haunting beasts. We had entered the Dogman's world, a world of darkness and mystery. Our lives were intertwined with its existence, bound by an agreement that was as terrifying as the creature itself. We had made a pact with the Dogman, and our lives were forever changed. Years passed, and the pact held, a binding agreement that brought a certain balance to our lives. The haunting had ceased, but the Dogman's presence was an ever-looming shadow, a constant reminder of the deal we made. Then came the night that shattered the peace. I found myself lost in the forest again. The familiar path twisted and turned in unfamiliar ways, leading me deeper into the woods. The moon was hidden behind a curtain of dark clouds, casting ominous shadows that danced with the wind. Max was agitated, his howls echoing in the still night air. The Dogman appeared, its red eyes glowing menacingly in the darkness. It seemed different, more ferocious, its growl sending a wave of dread through me. The Dogman revealed that hunters had found him. They had breached our pact, threatened his existence. He offered me a choice: join him, become one with the forest, or lose Max forever. Fear and desperation gripped me. I couldn't lose Max. Terrified, I accepted the Dogman's bargain. As I ran, Max disappeared into the night. He was free, released from the pact that had bound us for years. But I was trapped, now a part of the forest, a part of the Dogman's world. That night, the forest was a maze of fear and uncertainty, a testing ground where I had to prove my loyalty to the Dogman. The pact had taken a new form, a bond that required more than just protection. It demanded transformation, a metamorphosis that went beyond physical boundaries. The nightmare was far from over. It had just begun, taking a dark turn that would change our lives forever. We were no longer mere humans living on the edge of a forest. We were now part of it, bound by a pact that went beyond comprehension. Max was safe, but I was now a prisoner of the Dogman, a ghost in the world I once called home. My life took a grotesque turn. The forest was no longer a peaceful sanctuary. It became my prison, my home. The Dogman had transformed me, not into a beast, but into a guardian of the forest, a sentinel that protected the ancient woods. The transformation was a slow process, a gradual change that began with my senses. The forest, once a quiet haven, was now a cacophony of sounds. The rustling of leaves, the whispering winds, the nocturnal creatures' eerie calls. all became a part of my new existence. I could feel the forest breathing, its life force pulsating around me. The trees, the animals, the very soil beneath my feet were all a part of me now. I was no longer a man. I was a creature of the forest, a guardian bound by a pact. The Dogman was my guide, my mentor in this new existence. It showed me the secrets of the forest, the tales it held, the dangers it harbored. I was no longer the hunted. I was the protector, a watchful eye that safeguarded the ancient woods. The transformation took a toll on me. I missed Max, missed the comfort of my home, the simplicity of my old life. But I was bound by the pact, a prisoner of my own choices. The Dogman's presence was a constant reminder of my new life. It was a silent figure, a spectral shadow that watched over me. Its fiery eyes held a strange sense of comfort, a silent assurance that I was not alone. As the seasons changed, so did I. I became a part of the forest, a sentinel that watched over its secrets. The transformation was complete. A pact fulfilled. I was no longer a man. I was a guardian of the forest, a creature bound by a terrifying agreement. The Dogman had claimed me, not as a victim, but as a partner. I was its ally, its guardian. Our pact had taken a terrifying turn, a transformation that had changed us both. The forest was no longer just a home. It was our kingdom, a realm of ancient secrets, haunting creatures, and binding pacts. As the guardian of the forest, I had a new purpose, a new identity. I was neither man nor beast, but a spectral figure that stood between the forest and the encroaching world. My life was no longer my own. It belonged to the forest, to the Dogman. One fateful night, a group of hunters ventured into the woods. Their footsteps were a discordant note in the symphony of the forest, their intentions clear. They were after the Dogman, the creature of local legends and whispered tales. As the guardian, it was my duty to protect the forest, to protect the Dogman. I confronted the hunters, my transformed form a terrifying sight in the moonlit night. Their courage faltered, their guns useless against the spectral figure I had become. Despite their fear, one of the hunters recognized me. It was John, an old friend from the village. His shock was evident, his disbelief clear. He had thought me dead, lost to the forest. The truth was far more terrifying. John pleaded with me, begged me to revert to my human form, to return to the village. But I was no longer the man he knew. I was a guardian, bound by a pact that was stronger than any human bond. The encounter ended with the hunters fleeing, their courage shattered, their mission failed. They had come to hunt a beast, but they had encountered something far more terrifying. They had met the guardian of the forest, a spectral figure that was once a man. The encounter was a stark reminder of my transformation, of the pact that had changed my life. I was no longer a part of the human world. I was a creature of the forest, a guardian bound by an ancient pact. The encounter was also a reminder of the life I had left behind, of the choices I had made, and the consequences I had to bear. The full moon was a beacon in the night sky, casting an eerie glow over the forest. The trees stood tall and silent, their shadows dancing on the forest floor. The air was thick with anticipation, the forest holding its breath as the hunt began. I donned my mask, a grotesque representation of the Dogman, a symbol of our pact. It was a chilling sight, a spectral figure stalking the forest under the full moon. The thrill of the hunt coursed through my veins, a primal instinct awakened by the transformation. Max was by my side, his keen senses tracking the hunters. His loyalty was unwavering, his courage unmatched. We were partners in this twisted dance, bound by a pact that was as terrifying as it was unbreakable. The hunters were not aware of our presence, their attention focused on their prey. They were intruders in our realm, their intentions clear, but we were the guardians of the forest, the protectors of its secrets. We stalked them, our movements silent, our intentions deadly. The thrill of the hunt was intoxicating, the fear in the hunter's eyes, the adrenaline rush of the chase, the satisfaction of protecting our realm. It was a heady mix of emotions, but there was also a sense of dread, a constant reminder of the pact that had led us here. Max and I lived in fear, but we also found solace in each other. We were companions in this dark journey, bound by a pact that was as terrifying as it was unbreakable. We embraced the darkness, found comfort in its embrace. The forest was our home, the full moon our guide, the hunt our purpose. The hunt was a test of our resolve, a testament to our pact. We were the guardians of the forest, the protectors of its secrets. We were the hunters and the hunted, the predators and the prey. We were the Dogman and his guardian, bound by a pact that was as terrifying as it was unbreakable. The hunt ended with the dawn, the forest breathing a sigh of relief. The hunters were gone, their courage shattered, their mission failed. Max and I returned to our lair, our bodies weary but our spirits unbroken. We had survived another hunt, upheld our pact, protected our realm. The full moon waned, the forest returned to its peaceful slumber. But the memory of the hunt lingered, a chilling reminder of our pact. We were the guardians of the forest, the protectors of its secrets. We were the Dogman and his guardian, bound by a pact that was as terrifying as it was unbreakable. The hunt was our life, our purpose. It was a testament to our pact, a symbol of our transformation. We were the Dogman and his guardian, the hunters and the hunted, the protectors of the forest. We were bound by a pact that was as terrifying as it was unbreakable, a pact that had led us into the realm of darkness. The hunt was a chilling reminder of our pact, a testament to our transformation. It was a dance with death, a game of survival, but it was also a testament to our resolve, our courage, our loyalty. We were the Dogman and his guardian, bound by a pact that was as terrifying as it was unbreakable. We were the hunters and the hunted, the protectors of the forest, the guardians of its secrets. We were the embodiment of the hunt, the symbol of our pact, the guardians of the forest. The cycle of the hunt had become our existence. Each full moon marked the beginning of our deadly dance with the hunters, a dance that was as terrifying as it was exhilarating. Time blurred, the months and years merging into a seemingly endless night of stalking and evasion. Max became my rock, my steadfast companion in this terrifying journey. One fateful night, the cycle was broken. The hunters had returned, their intentions clear, their weapons deadly. We were prepared, our instincts honed by years of the hunt. But this time, it was different. This time, they had a target, and it was Max. Max defended me with all his might, his loyalty unwavering even in the face of danger. He was wounded, his body marred by the hunter's weapons. I watched in horror as my companion, my protector, my friend, was brought to his knees. The transformation was instantaneous, my body morphing into a creature of the night. I charged at the hunters, my fury uncontrollable, my actions deadly. They didn't stand a chance against the wrath of the guardian of the forest. The forest echoed with the sounds of the battle, the clash of the hunt, the cries of the fallen. I killed them all, my fury blinding, my actions relentless. The forest fell silent, the echoes of the battle fading. The balance we had maintained for years had been shattered. Max was dying, his life slipping away with each passing moment. I was helpless, my powers useless against the inevitability of death. I howled into the night, a cry of grief and despair that echoed through the forest. The pact had taken its toll. The cycle had been broken. The cycle had been a testament to our resolve, our courage, our loyalty. The cycle was broken, the balance shattered. The cycle had been a testament to our pact, a symbol of our transformation. But it had also been a testament to the terrifying power of the pact, the deadly consequences of our success. The cycle was broken, the balance shattered. I was the guardian of the forest, the protector of its secrets, the survivor of the hunt. But I was also a creature of the night, a product of a terrifying pact, a broken soul. The next full moon arrived with a sorrowful silence. The forest seemed to mourn with me, its usually vibrant life quiet in the face of my grieving. Max was gone. His spirit faded into the whispers of the wind and the rustling of the leaves. His absence was a gaping wound, a void that nothing could fill. Max's spirit seemed to linger in every corner, his memory etched into the very essence of the forest. I could still hear his howls echoing through the trees, his presence a comforting ghost that haunted my every step. The hunter's descendants dared to venture into the forest again, their courage fueled by their ancestors' tales. But they were not prepared for the wrath they faced. Driven by grief and a thirst for revenge, I attacked without mercy, my actions reflecting the pain that had consumed me. Each life I took was a tribute to Max, a testament to the bond we had shared. But it was also a reminder of my solitude, a cruel reflection of the life I had lost. Without Max, I was lost, adrift in a world of darkness and despair. The Dogman seemed to have disappeared as well, its presence a mere shadow that barely touched the corners of the forest. I found myself wondering if it was still watching from afar, if it had found another to lead into the darkness. Or perhaps it too was mourning, its spirit as broken as mine. I found myself howling at the moon, a cry of grief that echoed through the silent forest. My voice was a lone note in the symphony of the night, a testament to my solitude. The end had come, a cruel twist of fate that had ripped Max away from me. The pact had taken its toll, the consequences of my choices made painfully clear. I was the guardian of the forest, the protector of its secrets, the survivor of the hunt. But I was also a creature of the night, a product of a terrifying pact, a broken soul, a sorrow that consumed my very being. I was the guardian of the forest, the protector of its secrets. The forest was my sanctuary and my prison, my home and my tomb. I roamed its paths alone, a spectral figure consumed by grief and regret. Perhaps I had become the Dogman now, bound by a pact with time itself. I had become a part of the forest, a guardian of its secrets, a creature of the night. The Dogman was no longer a figure of terror. It was a part of me, a reflection of the pact that had changed my life. The choices I had made had led me here, to this world of darkness and despair. I had chosen to protect Max, to uphold our pact, to become a creature of the night. These choices had shaped my existence, defined my identity, and sealed my fate. The forest was a constant reminder of these choices, its paths a testament to the journey I had undertaken. Each tree was a witness to my transformation, each creature a part of the world I had chosen to protect. I was the guardian of the forest, a protector of its secrets, a creature of the night. The choice was mine, a decision that had changed my life forever. I had chosen the path of the guardian, the path of the protector. I had chosen to uphold the pact, to become a creature of the night. I had chosen to protect Max, to sacrifice my humanity for his safety. This was our story, a tale of a pact that had changed our lives, a tale of choices that had defined our existence. The forest was our home, our sanctuary. We were the guardians of its secrets, the protectors of its creatures, the survivors of the hunt. Would you choose to become a creature of the night, to lose your humanity for the sake of another? Would you choose to walk the path of the guardian, to become a protector of the forest? Each choice carries a consequence, each decision a price, but at the end of it all is love, loyalty, and sacrifice. This is our story, a tale of a pact, a tale of choices. What would you choose?